Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? We got a big guest coming in today. Pastor John Amachukwu is going to be here. He's visiting a school board in Middle Tennessee this evening to discuss the books that they have in their library. Looking forward to Pastor John joining the show. He said he's grabbing a quick bite to eat, and he's heading my way. So take your time. No rush. Show starts at 9. We're on till 12. Get in here when you can. So we're looking forward to his arrival. Yesterday, the biggest story in America was one Luigi Mangione, the United Healthcare CEO assassin. Who the heck is this guy? Internet speculation running rampant. What we know is that he was arrested in a McDonald's with the murder weapon on him and a manifesto. And he's anti-capitalist. And we actually, we know a lot more about Luigi Mangione today than we know about Thomas Matthew Crooks. Isn't that weird? Doesn't that blow your mind a little bit? It's weird to me. So this 26-year-old was taken into custody yesterday in Altoona, Pennsylvania, sitting down at a McDonald's. So when the police showed up, said, "You been to New York lately?" And he got visibly nervous, started shaking. And I was wrestling with this last night. I was like, why the heck would he still have the murder weapon on him? Why? You got from Central Park to Altoona, Pennsylvania, you got how many storm drains, lakes, dumpsters, trash cans that you could have gotten rid of that thing, right? Like you could have disassembled that gun and then scattered it between Central Park and Altoona, Pennsylvania, and it would have never been found. But you kept it on you? Why? And the reason that I think maybe is the most reasonable, maybe the kid was planning suicide by cop. And when it finally came to that time, he froze, and that's why he began to shake. But he was found at McDonald's where he was caught with the ghost gun, a suppressor, similar to what police believe was used in the attack on the CEO. And he's being held now. Wild story. So what do we know? What do we know about this guy? He was born in 98 from Maryland. The family is loaded. And when I say loaded, I mean like big money. They own golf resorts and luxury clubs and nursing homes, and they're all throughout, right? In Maryland, big money. He goes to an elite private school for high school, $40,000 a year of tuition. He got valedictorian in 2016. Classmates describe him as inventive, courageous, charming, gets into UPenn, studies math and computer science. He gets a bunch of degrees, minors in philosophy. He co-founds a game development club, works on AI competitions. And, from the outside looking in, you see this kid and those chiseled eyebrows, and you're like, what a Chad. This kid is handsome. He's athletic. He's got ambition. He graduates in 2020. He has basically the keys to the kingdom at that point, right? Like you come from a rich family. You got these degrees. What the hell went wrong with this kid? 2021, cracks start forming. He got into a surfing accident in Hawaii, and that really messed him up. And I'm sure you've seen the pictures of the x-rays going around online with like the 3 screws in his neck, and he has chronic lower back pain moving forward, and people say that was the change in him. That really became who he was at that point moving forward. And he couldn't work out, he couldn't sit, he couldn't live a normal life anymore. Goes through the healthcare system, it's a hellscape. Insurance denies his surgery. He spends money on specialists. The treatments fail. Everything gets worse, and he starts getting a little bit pissed. And he starts to reveal how much he hates the healthcare industry. He starts those rants about parasite healthcare execs. And then we've learned that he gets into some niche books, like Crooked, Outwitting the Back Pain Industry, Back Mechanic by Stuart McGill, Ted Kaczynski's Industrial Society and Its Future. That's the Unabomber, in case you're keeping score at home. He posts online about banning porn. He follows Eurowid. He explores psychedelics. He still doesn't really have anybody paying attention to him. In 2022, I'm hearing he went on an ayahuasca retreat. I don't know if you know anything about ayahuasca, but it's a very powerful psychedelic. Claims he saw God during that trip. Fought off shadowy entities. And it gets really weird. Gets really weird. Friends think he's having a spiritual awakening, but the vibes just get darker. He deletes a bunch of old tweets, only posts sporadically after that. And by 2023, he has fully withdrawn. And people around him say something seems different. It's weird, right? 2023, he leaves his dream job. He moves to Hawaii permanently. He's broke. He's depressed. He's living off of his savings. He's spiraling. And he posts less, deletes a lot of old tweets. December 2024, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is assassinated. Shot outside the Hilton Midtown in broad daylight. Luigi's arrested 5 days later, yesterday in Altoona. He's found with a 3D printed ghost gun, 0 serial numbers, spooky tech vibes, silencer, fake IDs, and a handwritten manifesto blaming healthcare executives for killing Americans. The manifesto calls CEOs parasites and powerful abusers. He apologizes for any trauma caused, but said this has to happen. He specifically names United Healthcare as the enemy of the people. But it just feels like something out of a movie, right? Doesn't this feel like something out of a movie? I mean, it's too put together. It's too put together. The timelines are all weird. He was last living in Hawaii. Apparently, his mother had reported him missing a few weeks back. There was November 18th. He was missing in San Francisco, reported to police by his mother, according to the San Francisco Standard. It's just all weird, man. It's all weird. The entire thing is insane. The arrest of Luigi Mangione was being described as peaceful. And this is how police described it yesterday when they were discussing it during their press conference.
Question, I guess maybe for the local version about the arrest specifically today. I don't know who.
We'll defer to Altoona Police.
I guess I'm curious if we could hear a little bit more about the dynamics. If you could set the podium there. Sure. If we could hear a little bit more about the dynamics inside that McDonald's. I know there was some detail in the affidavit about what happened when the individual was asked if he'd been to New York. Could you speak a little bit to his demeanor and how that played out?
Sure. So it was a peaceful arrest, first and foremost. The officer quickly recognized the male as the suspect from the shooting. And within several seconds of the first contact, he had asked the suspect if he had been in New York City recently. And that really invoked a physical reaction from the suspect. He became visibly nervous, kind of shaking at that question. And he didn't really answer it directly. So that statement alone really said a lot. And the suspect didn't have to say a lot after that question to show that, he was very nervous at that point.
Again, I wrestled with all day yesterday why this guy still had the gun on him. But when you hear him describe his reaction to when the police show up and say, "You been to New York lately?" and he starts shaking, I'm convinced maybe he was going to go for suicide by cop. He had everything on him, and maybe he was going to turn the gun on the police officers. But in that moment, he panicked. He was too scared, and he froze. I think maybe that's the most logical explanation. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just trying to make sense of this as much as anybody else is. Who is Luigi Mangione? That's what America wants to know. Again, his family is super connected in Maryland. He's the heir to the holiday resort fortune created by his grandparents. He's got a sister who's a top doctor. He's got a cousin that's a Republican Maryland lawmaker. And people are actually giving this guy grief for not turning his cousin in. I don't know, man. Did you see the pictures with the masks on? If you hadn't seen your cousin in a few years, would you be able to spot him if it was just the eyes? I don't know. I don't know if I could. Just being honest. Also, just being honest, even if I could, I don't know if I'm turning my cousin in. Maybe I give him a call and say, "Hey, you really need to turn yourself in." But I don't know. I don't know if I'm the guy that's going to be turning in a family member. I know it's dark. I'm just trying to be as honest as I can be. I don't know if I would do it. But Maryland State Delegate Antonio Mangione, 37, is the cousin of this 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, who was arrested yesterday. He's a member of the House of Delegates since 2019. He hasn't addressed the arrest at all. And as word spread that he was detained, people wanted to know more, and people got pissed. They were like, why didn't you turn in your cousin? But I don't know. You look at the pictures of him with the mask on, with the hood on. Maybe he just didn't know. Or maybe he knew and he didn't want to turn his cousin in. I don't know. Would you turn your cousin in? I don't know if I would. I might suggest that they turn themselves in. I don't know if I would turn him in. But the suspect was in possession of what's being called a ghost gun. It was a 3D printed gun, no serial numbers. And I'm telling you, get ready. Before Biden leaves office, there's going to be some big proclamation about how they're banning ghost guns.
Chief, did he have any weapons or anything like that with him when he was arrested?
He was in possession of a ghost gun that had the capability of firing a 9mm round and a suppressor.
It's a ghost gun. I mean, it serves a purpose, right? It's scary enough. It plays into the conspiracy theories that this guy isn't who we think he is. There's a lot of conspiracy theories online. I mean, a ton of conspiracy theories online. As these cases tend to create, right? People want to figure things out. They start jumping to conclusions. But there's a lot of conspiracy theories. And the ghost gun, people are saying, raises red flags. A lot of questions online. Why would a guy like Luigi, an Ivy grad, tech-savvy kid with a spotless record, need to print a gun? Right? Like, he could buy a gun. He doesn't have to print a gun. Why? People are saying ghost guns are the perfect deep state props. They're untraceable, terrifying, buzzword worthy. And it feels like a setup to push the DIY domestic terrorism narrative. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it was just a kid who was having back pain and got pissed. Maybe it was a kid who didn't really have what he thought he had. And he goes on these retreats and he does ayahuasca and he's just spiraling out of control. I don't know. And I think at this point, nobody knows. Nobody knows. So he's arrested. He's got a ghost gun. He's got a manifesto, and he has about $8,000 in U.S. cash, $2,000 in foreign currency, his passport, and a Faraday bag. And I don't know if you know what Faraday bags are. Faraday bags are bags that stop cell phone service and data going through it. It's like, you ever go get an x-ray and they put the lead apron on you? And then they run behind that wall. It's like a Faraday bag would be like what that lead apron, right? It's not letting anything in, not letting anything out. And one thing of note that is interesting is that while he's in court and the prosecutors are noting that they found him with everything they found him with, the $8,000 in cash, the $2,000 in foreign currency, the shooter actually said, I want to address two of the things that you said. I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. He also added that the bag was waterproof. It wasn't to protect, to block cell phone transmission from going through. But this is what CNN was reporting last night.
Sure thing, Aaron. Well, yeah, I'll say just about an hour ago, I was there inside that courthouse watching as Luigi Mangione walked right past myself and a number of other reporters. He was wearing a blue shirt, blue jeans. He was, of course, handcuffed. And he looked, even in this court appearance, visibly distressed, but he kept his brow furrowed through the duration of this arraignment hearing. And I should say what was interesting, though, Aaron, is you said we haven't heard a statement from the suspect. He did actually speak inside of that courtroom to the judge and to all the folks who were in there. But it was on very selective issues, and I'll just kind of go through what we heard. The judge asked Luigi Mangione a number of questions, first about his identity. So Mr. Mangione confirmed that that is his real name. He initially said that his residence was in Maryland, but then the judge actually pressed him on that. And then he said, actually, I have lived at various addresses before then ultimately giving an address in Honolulu, Hawaii. Then he also said that he has worked for 3 years as a data engineer up until about a year ago. And he also told the judge that he has no drug or mental health problems that the court needs to know about. But Aaron, one of the most interesting parts of that particular hearing was actually his statements after the conversation about bail. The prosecutors basically stepped up there and made the case why they believe that this man should be held without bail. They mentioned that he is awaiting potentially an arrest warrant coming from New York City as one of the major reasons. But they also said that prosecutors noted that they found him with $8,000 in U.S. cash, $2,000 in foreign currency, his passport, and also a Faraday bag, which is basically a bag designed to stop transmission of cell service or other sort of things like that. At the end of his speech, the prosecutor's speech, Luigi Mangione said, I actually want to address two of the things that you said. He said, I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. And then he also said that that bag was waterproof.
It's insane. This entire story is insane. And some of the most insane stuff that's coming out of it is the reaction from the left. Taylor Lorenz is a journalist, and I use that with air quotes and that term very, very loosely. But she was on Piers Morgan last night, and she said she felt joy after hearing that the United Healthcare CEO was assassinated in New York City in broad daylight. And Piers Morgan takes her to task, rips her to shreds over this. I'm going to play you that clip when we get back. It's 9:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Up ahead here on Super Talk 99.7, coming up at 9:30 this morning, why police are so confident that Luigi Mangione is the killer of the healthcare executive in New York City. Also, what the Williamson County Board of Education has to say about 5 controversial books. Those stories at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It's 9:29 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. So I have a lot of questions about this shooting in New York. I have a lot of questions about Luigi Mangione, but one of the questions I don't have is whether or not this guy is a hero and we should celebrate him. Like, the man is a monster. He killed a father, a husband in broad daylight. Yet that doesn't stop those on the left from celebrating this like it is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Taylor Lorenz she's a journalist, and I use that very, very loosely. She's famous for doxing libs of TikTok. She used to work at the Washington Post, but she was on Piers Morgan Uncensored last night. And this lunatic of a woman said she felt joy after hearing that this CEO was assassinated in broad daylight.
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like.
Serious?
I mean,
joy in a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy.
That's Taylor Lorenz, an absolute psycho of a person. I felt joy. And then she gets just a smidge of pushback. She goes, well, no, not joy, Pierce, not joy, Pierce. I'll bring you the rest of that clip when we get back after Joan Jones' newscast, which starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. Now 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Want to let you know that there is a crash on 65 in the southbound lanes in Spring Hill this morning, and it's blocking off the left lane just past 840. That's exit 59. Be careful in that area. We've got your forecast just ahead in a couple of minutes. 26-year-old Ivy League graduate Luigi Mangione now facing a second-degree murder charge in the shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last week in Midtown Manhattan. Mangione arrested yesterday at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where he was recognized by an employee. New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch tells ABC News she's pretty confident about Mangione's ID.
Early in the investigation, some forensic evidence, some DNA evidence, some fingerprints. So we were very confident that we were ultimately going to get to the right person.
Mangione is still in Altoona. It's not clear when he'll be sent back to New York. A special session of the Williamson County Board of Education last night where 5 books were removed or restricted from school libraries. The action comes in response to a new state law that mandates schools only make books available to students if they're suitable for their age and maturity level. Members of the public were allowed to comment on the books before the board members made their decision. Want to save a few bucks on airfare for the holidays? Katie Nastro is with Going.com. She says, try this.
It might be cheaper to travel on one airline, going to a destination, and then traveling back on another airline.
Also, try not to travel anywhere on January 1st or 2nd. Those are expensive days. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store and the Shoot 270 indoor shooting rooms. Yes, rooms, not lanes. More on that in a bit. The Glock Store is not a little department in a huge store where guns are part of the business. I mean, that's the primary purpose of the business. The guys at the Glock Store want to sell Glocks and train you how to use them. That's what they do. That's what they know. That's why they're so good at it. Stop by and take a tour of the Glock Store. Find out why the Glock is the most popular handgun in America by far. And ask them about the Shoot 270 indoor shooting facility. It's the only one in the country. You see, a lane range is a lane range is a lane range. Wherever you go, it's all the same. But the Shoot 270 private shooting rooms offer one-on-one personal instruction. You're actually going to shoot less and learn more. Trust me, I'm shooting less and learning way more at the Glock Store, and you'll always leave that room a better, more confident, more competent shooter than you went in every single time, guaranteed. So book your session today. Don't wait. Shoot270.com. You'll be glad you did. It's the Glock Store, glockstore.com, and shoot270.com. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like
Serious?
I mean,
joy
I
in a
guess I would
man's
say
execution?
maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy.
That's Taylor Lorenz saying, I felt joy. Well, not joy, but definitely no empathy when CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, was executed in broad daylight in New York City. I felt joy. A lot of people felt joy. It's weird. The internet has had a lot of takes like this. Like the whole crowd, well, I'm not advocating for violence, but it's been just everywhere. Taylor Lorenz, though, saying this on live TV with Piers Morgan, it's a jump the shark kind of moment, is it not?
Because again,
we're watching the footage. How can this make you joyful? This guy's a husband, he's a father, and he's being gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful?
Thousands of Americans that being murdered. So are the tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, who died because greedy health insurance executives like this one push policies of denying care to the most vulnerable people. And the many millions of Americans that have watched people that I care about suffer and in some cases die because of lack of health care.
So should they all be killed then? Should they all be killed, these healthcare executives? Would that make you even more joyful?
No, that would not.
But why not?
And,
why are you laughing?
I think because it wouldn't fix the system.
You seem to find the whole thing hilarious.
She does. And she's smiling the entire time. This woman's a lunatic. These people on the left that are cheering this are lunatics. And she tries to play it off. Well, tens of thousands of Americans, innocent Americans, well, they die because of greedy health insurance executives like this one. I wish she would keep that same energy when it came to, things that mattered, like wars overseas and the wide open border. And, we can go down the list. But these leftists don't have that same energy for those topics. She's upset that CEOs get rich and Americans are dying. And I'm upset Americans die, too. I don't think that our state of health care is fantastic by any stretch of the imagination. But to cheer the death of a husband and father, insanity.
I find your question funny.
A bloke's been murdered in the street. I don't find it funny at all.
I don't find it funny that tens of thousands of Americans die every year and because they are denied life-saving health care from people like the CEO. Now, I want to fix the system. You're right. We shouldn't be going around shooting each other with vigilante justice. No. I think that it is a good thing that this murder has led to America, or really the media elites and politicians in this country paying attention to this issue for the first time.
This murder actually, it's a good thing. And here's why.
You mentioned you couldn't understand why somebody would feel this reaction when they watched a CEO die. It's because you have not dealt, it sounds like, with the American healthcare system in the way that millions of other Americans have.
I've dealt with the healthcare system in various ways in America. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but the idea that I would view it as something...
Have you been denied life-saving treatment?
The idea that I would view it as something joyful, that a man who's just a healthcare executive, has been executed in the street, I find completely bizarre.
Yeah, it is. And they are. They're celebrating it. It is absolutely bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Hey, Mason, come grab my cell phone in here because our guest is we got people lining up. So I want you to grab this and then tell them where to park and all that kind of stuff. Appreciate it. We got John Amachukwu coming in a minute, and Mason's coordinating that as well. So the fact that we're going to be celebrating this and saying that we're full of joy because of this is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But, yesterday we saw two major things happen. We saw Luigi Mangione face justice, and we saw Daniel Penny freed. Just two opposite sides of the spectrum. And Scott Jennings on CNN, he put it the best way. He pulled out a chart last night on CNN, and he said this.
If you're on the American left tonight, here's my chart. The good guys today, Daniel Penny. The bad guys, Luigi Mangione. It seems to me.
How do you?
Everybody
what's
on the
the
left,
chart for victims?
I'm just telling you what I see out in the world.
I know.
What
I just want you to finish the chart. Which victim is good and which victim is bad.
What I'm telling you is
that's not on the second page.
People on the left people on the left can't
Scott,
seem to tell the difference between the good guys and the
about
bad guys.
people on the left. I'm asking you whether you consider this person.
We have people praising
I want
Luigi
to know
and
whether
attacking
you
Penny.
think that
one is good,
as
one
Congressman.
Yeah, exactly. Taylor Lorenz is one of those people praising Luigi and trashing Daniel Penny. The contrast between these two cases couldn't be more crazy. Daniel Penny yesterday being freed, God bless him. He went through absolute hell to restore his good name. And I didn't think he was going to get off. Honestly, I thought that the leftist justice system was going to do him in, but they didn't. And the left is just furious about this. The left celebrates the murder of the CEO, and the left is furious that a guy like Daniel Penny can defend people on a train and not go to prison for the rest of his life. Megyn Kelly was talking about Daniel Penny in the scene inside the courtroom.
Meanwhile, someone over on Neely's side, some are describing him as the victim. He wasn't the victim. He was the aggressor. He was the criminal on that subway car that day who was seriously threatening other passengers. He had a long history of hurting them. And somebody on his side yelled out in the courtroom, "It's a racist country."
Of course. It's always racist. If it's not going your way, it's got to be racism, right? It's got to be racism. Never mind the fact that Daniel Penny also protected black individuals on that train from Jordan Neely. Never mind that. Hey, don't let the facts get in the way of a good yelling of racism. Don't do that.
Hello, madam or sir, that's not working anymore. You're going to have to find a new line. I don't know what it's going to be. But the BLM era is officially over. It's over. You had us in some sort of weird, psychotic headspin for 4 or 5 years, and it's done. Trump's reelected, and Daniel Penny is acquitted in one of the most leftist jurisdictions in America, despite the fact that he is white and Jordan Neely was black. And they're still yelling, "It's a racist country, you fools."
And they're going to continue yelling that. They were yelling that outside of the courtroom yesterday. There was a guy named Hawk Newsom. He's an unhinged BLM activist. And he had to say, listen, guys, this is all racism. It's all racism. Don't you understand? Don't you understand how this works? See, Daniel Penny's white. Jordan Neely's black. Daniel Penny was off. He got off, so he's obviously a racist. Obviously. Jordan Neely's father, who didn't seem to care about him before, is now saying that, what happened to my boy? What happened to my boy? This system is rigged.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts.
You know, it's funny that he says it hurts. It really, really hurts. Yet he didn't care about Jordan Neely for the years and years and years that he was on the street addicted to drugs, right? He had not a care in the world about that. But the BLM activists are what get me the most. The New York Black Lives Matter leader, Hawk Newsom, wants black vigilantes to step up in the face of the Daniel Penny acquittal.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I love how people in the background are like, that's right. That's right. It's like he protected black people on the train too. He protected innocent Americans from an unhinged lunatic, drug addict, homeless guy. Like, I'm sorry. That's just what we got. Hawk Newsom, actually, this guy that runs BLM in New York, believe it or not, this guy gave a TED Talk in 2018. Do you remember TED Talks? Remember when those were all the rage? Everybody, you had to have a TED Talk. You got to watch the TED Talk. Oh, I saw a TED Talk on this topic. Do they do TED Talks anymore? I don't know if they do TED Talks anymore. They're definitely not as popular as they once were. But Hawk Newsom did a TED Talk while they were popular in 2018. And just listen to this, and then I'll comment. This is from that BLM leader from New York, Hawk Newsom, who is saying that we need black vigilantes to rise up in New York.
Do you have love in your hearts? Do you love your neighbor? Do you believe in the Bible, the Quran? Do you believe in your religious teachings? Because I guarantee you, all of them tell you to help your neighbor.
Hey, spoiler alert, Hawk. That's exactly what Daniel Penny did on that train. He helped his neighbor. He helped his neighbor. The NAACP tweeted last night, and I screenshotted the tweet because I wasn't sure if it was going to make it through the night. I wasn't sure. But the NAACP tweeted out, the acquittal of Daniel Penny in the death of Jordan Neely has effectively given license for vigilante justice to be waged on the black community without consequence. It's a painful reminder of the inequities in our justice system. Jordan deserved compassion. Instead, he was met with violence. We stand with his family in calling for accountability. Huge joke. Now, I didn't think this was going to make it through the night because it got community noted to high heaven, and people are correcting it and adding context. Like, Daniel Penny did not act alone in defending himself and others from Neely. A black man can clearly be seen assisting Penny to subdue Neely. A black woman testified in defense of Penny. There is no evidence that Penny was motivated by race. See, if you're looking at this situation, you know that. I know that. There's no reason to believe that this was motivated by race. But they have to make it about race. Just like everything else. They have to. That was the only way that he was going to get off. And if you listen to Daniel Penny in his own words, this is not an evil white man. This is a good, honest man. This guy's a Marine. And you listen to him in his own words describe the incident. It's completely different than what the media portrays.
East Village in Manhattan, so I take the subway multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school. I got out of class around 2:15. And I took I was at J Street Metro Tech, took the Uptown F train. At 2nd Avenue, a man came on, stumbled on, appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the three main threats that he repeated over and over was, I'm going to kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die.
Oh, he must have only done this because Jordan Neely was black, right? That's the only reasonable explanation. It has nothing to do with the threats of wanting to kill people and being willing to go to jail for killing people, right? It has nothing to do with that.
You know, this was a scary situation, and Mr. Neely came on. He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me. So it was, and there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear.
I love that. I say that to my boys all the time. Listen, being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. Being brave means that you're scared and you do it anyway. And I try and instill that value into my boys. And you hear that from a Marine, I'm like, man, all right, perfect. I'm doing something right. Because that right there is a brave man that did the right thing. We need more Daniel Pennies, not less. This guy's an absolute hero, no matter how you slice it. He's not an evil racist. He's not an evil white man. He's a good man. And I'm glad that he got off. Lord knows we need more Daniel Pennies. It's 9:52 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Kroger is closing a Nashville location, and you may just get what you pay for when it comes to weight loss drugs. We'll explain those stories coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. Looking forward to that newscast coming up at 10. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. If you need better water, call Better Water LLC. John Amachukwu is in studio. Pastor John, welcome in, man. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's a joy to be here with you in good old Nashville.
Man, we're pretty excited. You got some stuff to do tonight. You're not here just to take in Broadway. You're not here to see the sights or the Batman building, although those things are nice. You're not going to a Titans game or a Preds game. You got business to handle tonight.
That's the truth, my friend. You know, I'm not here to practice, you know, my latest Elvis rendition, right? You don't.
I bet you it's pretty good though.
Hey man, I could sing a little bit now. Yeah, I don't have the country twang, but you know I'm a gospel preacher now, so we can go Pentecostal on you right fast, my brother. But yes, I'm glad to be here, man. It's a joy to come to this state. I've now been to, this will make 17 states where I've gone to speak at school board meetings.
That's incredible. We're going to do a deep dive on this. I want to ask you about the work that goes into you doing these school board meetings. Because a lot of people see your videos, and we'll see a clip, and we go, wow, that guy's incredible. But we don't know about the work that goes in behind the scenes to get you into these school board meetings. Plus, we'll talk about where you're going to be tonight and more on the way. Pastor John Amachukwu is in studio. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to tell you about a stalled tractor trailer on 24. It's in the eastbound lanes, the off-ramp to I-65 north. That stalled out tractor trailer is blocking a left lane of the off-ramp. Be careful around that. We've got your forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. So what do you do after a big court victory? Well, you go to the pub, and that's what Marine veteran Daniel Penny did along with his lawyers yesterday.
We think that this should have happened probably on day one, but the important thing is it happened.
Penny was acquitted of criminally negligent homicide after holding down a menacing Jordan Neely in a subway train after he threatened other riders. Now, among those celebrating the acquittal, professional golfer Phil Mickelson, who called the ruling common sense, and Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale posting on X, "It's not a crime to defend women and children. It's your duty as an honorable man. Sorry he went through this." Kroger is closing its store at the Belmead Plaza on Harding Pike on January 31st after 47 years at that location. The property was sold last year. 82 employees work at that store. All of them have been offered transfers to any other Middle Tennessee location. So what's to come in that location? Well, plans for that spot include apartments, a hotel, shopping, and a green space. The Williamson County School Board has either removed or restricted 5 books that have been freely available on library shelves during a special meeting last night. The books in question, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, The Field Guide to the North American Teenager, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Where the Crawdads Sing, and the book called Speak. The review comes due to a new state law that went into effect in July. It mandates all materials in school libraries be suitable for age and maturity level of the students who may access them. A man who used a screwdriver to pop open the mailboxes at a Nashville apartment complex has been arrested. 48-year-old Anthony Exum has been arrested for stealing mail at the Riverwood Tower Apartments on DuPont Avenue after officers reviewed security footage of him opening mailboxes and stuffing the mail in his pants. Exum is the son of one of the residents in that complex. He's in jail on $12,000 bond. And the pharmaceutical companies are doing their best to ramp up production of weight loss drugs to meet soaring demand. But some Americans are trying to get their hands on those drugs without paying the high prices.
Criminals have found sources of legitimate Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, and the other weight loss drugs or counterfeit versions that they then sell to U.S. buyers. Federal health officials have issued new warnings. Not only are the substances sold on the black market potentially dangerous, buyers are sometimes paying up front and receiving nothing in return.
ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. I got a fantastic guest in the studio with me. This guy got off a flight and just flew here to the studio. Pastor John Amachukwu is in the building. He's got business to attend to in Middle Tennessee tonight. Pastor John, thank you for joining the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's an honor to be with you in person. Now, we've done this, virtually several times, right? Coming on your show, you've been so generous and kind to me. But you told me, you said, you know what, Pastor John, if you come to town and you want to join my show, just let me know and I'll get you on.
Yep.
Man, I didn't know if it would happen, but listen, I landed and I said to myself, I have some time. And so I muscled through traffic in Nashville to get here to be on the Chris Hand Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, baby.
Let's
Make
go.
some noise and let's celebrate this guy right here. He's doing a phenomenal job. He's heard all around the land. He's dominating this demographic here, and it's a joy for me to be on with you.
Well, man, I appreciate the kind words. I love what you're doing. And I think that one of the things that is not talked about when we see your videos, because we'll see you go into the school board meeting, we'll see you read the books that they don't want you to read, we'll see them shut you down because you're being too vulgar. But there's a lot of work that goes in on the back end.
Too vulgar.
to get you, right? Isn't it insane? There's a lot of work that goes in on the back end to get you into these school board meetings.
Sure.
that a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
How much work is it to go and be a guest and speak at one of these school board meetings?
It's a lot of work. I won't share all of my secrets on air. However, it's a lot of fact-finding, to be resolute in your conversation. You really want to know what's going on. And so for me, it's kind of unique because I'm now, I've been deputized as the foremost voice speaking out at school board meetings nationally.
Yep.
I've now spoken in, this will make 17 states, Virginia, North Carolina, New Jersey, Nevada, Florida, Texas, Colorado, California, Idaho, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Missouri, New Mexico, Maryland, and now Tennessee. And so after you've done that many times, you really have to do your homework to know what's going on. So you have to consult with boots on the ground. Oftentimes I hear from school board leaders and superintendents and teachers and parents and concerned pastors and constituents in the area who want me to come. We have meetings. We discuss the information that's going on. I pray over the information and the content and as God gives me the direction of what to speak about and how to focus on the issues at hand. You only get 3 minutes to speak. Sometimes you get 2 minutes. I went to New Mexico a couple weeks ago. They gave me 1 minute to speak. I flew over 2,000 miles just to speak for 1 minute. So you have to be on your A game and be prepared at all times.
How do you get yourself prepared for these school board meetings? Like, are you preparing your remarks? Do you have them written down? Or are you kind of going in there and you're just letting the Lord talk through you?
Great question. Oftentimes it's allowing the Lord to talk through me. You learn so much from the sit-down conversations that we have that are virtual and in person. And then from there, I just ask God to just download a plan. Tell me what to say, and tell me how to say it. I've learned to do it that way so that I'm not forcing a message and that God is the conduit, and I'm the conduit that God is using to speak through. And so, but you have to be steeped on the facts, And so one of the things that I'm seeing that comes up oftentimes in these school board meetings is that I'll hear something that triggers me. In case in point, I went to Temecula, California to speak at a school board meeting there, and they were trying to equate, the plight of the LGBTQIA+ community with the plight of Black Americans in the U.S. Pretty much saying that the same struggle that Blacks went through, i.e. slavery and the Jim Crow era, is the same thing that the LGBTQ agenda is going through and individuals who are going through. So that really opened up my eyes, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and so I began to address that issue.
Do you find that offensive when they say that the LGBTQ movement is the new civil rights movement?
Yes, I do, and I think that a lot of blame should be placed at the feet of groups like the NAACP, who was once in the red, but they had to find a creative way to get in the black, and so they sold the true civil rights movement down the river, and they took on the LGBTQIA+ agenda. And so now they're not about the advancement of colored people. It's about the advancement of queer people. And so they put that first because that's what pays the bills. And yes, but it is offensive because I didn't choose to be a Black man, nor did you choose to be white. But you choose to be lesbian, to be gay, to be bisexual, to be trans, and you're not born that way. Is this microphone working? Can they hear me out here in Radio Land?
I think they can.
Let me say this again. You are not born that way. God is a divine architect, right? Within all mankind, he places a God-shaped vacuum. He doesn't want to doom us to hell and condemn us. He wants to love us to repentance. And so why would he make you that way and then judge you at the same time for that sin, which God calls abominable? Why would he do that? God doesn't work like that. That's the heart of man. That's not the heart of God.
I love it. What are you planning to do tonight? Where are you going to be? What's your game plan?
I'm going to the Murfreesboro City Schools to speak at a school board meeting there. I have about 3 minutes to speak. We're going to touch on issues germane to their budget. There's a lot of funding that's being spent in that district. And so I want to have some conversations about that, okay? What else are we spending money on? There's a parental rights issue that's taking place nationally, and it has to deal with the libraries. There are people who think that in the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion, that children should learn about all kinds of sex acts and, you know, the novel 72 Genders and Counting in the public school system. The Bible says in Genesis 1:27 that God created us male and female. Verse 28 says, and he blessed them. In other words, he blessed the male-female construct. Anything else is cursed. The construct of two men coming together, that is a cursed construct. God did not bless that. Two women coming together, that's a cursed construct. God did not bless that. He blessed according to his word, right? If we're going to trust absolute truth, we must trust God's word. And he blessed the marriage union, the construct of the male and the female. However, today we have 72 different genders. I'm going to talk about a book at this school board meeting entitled, It Feels Good to Be Yourself, right?
Okay. And this looks like a children's book.
It's a children's book, ages 4 through 8. I mean, let's just stop there. Let's pause, right? Why are you talking about gender identity to a 4-year-old?
Honestly.
I mean, come on.
You got young kids? I got young kids.
Yes, I have 3, 15, 14, and 7.
I got 2, 5, 7, and 10.
Listen, brother. I mean, a 4-year-old. So that means that your children could have access to this book on day one.
At the Murfreesboro City Schools.
At the Murfreesboro City Schools. And the author is demonic. I mean, like, full stop demonic. Written by Theresa Thorne and illustrated by Noah Grigney. Now, when you open up the book and you look in the jacket of the book, this is what it says. I'm gonna show you how deceptive Satan is. It says, some people are boys. That's true. Some people are girls. That's truth. Some people are both. Now, hold up, wait a minute.
This is suggested for 4 to 8-year-olds, and it's in Murfreesboro City Schools.
That's exactly right. It says some people are both. Okay, this is where the trickery comes in. Some people are both, neither, or somewhere in between. Chris, what is that? What is somewhere in between?
I don't know.
I mean, what does that mean? And so you're telling children, yes, you can be a boy, you can be a girl, you could be both, you could be neither, you could be somewhere in between. I mean, that is corrupt. And I don't know about you. I don't know about you, the listeners that are tuning in, but there should be something that rises up in you that gives you righteous indignation when you hear this stuff. If you're not moved by what I'm telling you right now, you have a soul issue.
You didn't even make it. You didn't even make it into the book.
No, I'm not even.
You made it into you're on the jacket.
I'm in the jacket. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
You know, I'm only in the jacket. So here it says, this sweet, all right, straightforward exploration of gender identity will give children a fuller understanding of themselves and others with child-friendly language and vibrant art. It feels good to be yourself, provides young readers and parents alike with the vocabulary to discuss this important topic with sensitivity. All right,
This is for 4 to 8-year-olds.
4 to 8-year-olds.
I feel like I have to keep stressing that because it's mind-blowing.
No, it is. Indeed, man. And so it starts off, it says, this is Ruthie. She's a transgender girl. Now let's go back to the jacket. The jacket says, this sweet, straightforward exploration of gender identity will give children a fuller understanding of themselves and others with child-friendly language. Why in the world are they saying that transgender is a child-friendly term?
Honestly.
It's not.
It shouldn't be.
It's not.
They're trying to make it.
They are. You know, they're redefining terms, and I guess what is also child-friendly. It says she's a transgender girl. That means when she was born, everyone thought she was a boy until she grew a little older. old enough to tell everyone that she's actually a girl. All right? Girl is Ruthie's gender identity.
For 4 to 8-year-olds.
4 to 8-year-olds.
In Murfreesboro City Schools.
In Murfreesboro City Schools. We're still in what is called the Bible Belt. We're in Tennessee. We're in a red state. I think we are, right?
Do you think that these people in these positions of power are making a more dedicated attack in these states in the Bible Belt because they want to indoctrinate the kids before the parents can get to them?
Yes, I do. You know, parents take their kids to school. They drop them off for a total of about 105,000 hours, you know, from K through 12. And oftentimes, parents don't engage beyond saying, hey, did you get your homework done?
Yep.
Or, hey, when is the play? There are no questions about, okay, what did you do in first period? Oh, it was a good day. We had fun. See, when my son or daughter gives me that response, oh no, we're gonna be here for a while, baby. I'm slowing all the way down. So when I dropped you off at school and you walked in, no, you ran. I tell you to stop running anyway. When you ran into school, what happened when you walked into the building? I want to hear it all. That's when I slow down. You know what I mean? I pick apart every juncture of the day because I don't want to know what's going on. But I also want to know who the guidance counselor is, right? You want to know that because oftentimes these agendas are being pushed through these counselors, right? These wicked psychologists and individuals who have been given the right to mediate and to deal with issues that children may have throughout the course of the day. These are the people that are speaking into their ear. You want to know what the guidance counselor thinks. Yeah. You want to go in there and just don't say anything, just look. Yeah. And see if you see that god-awful 6-stripe rainbow. I said 6 stripes because God's rainbow has 7.
Yep.
God's rainbow that naturally occurs in nature has 7 stripes. The stripe that the LGBTQ agenda and movement takes out is indigo. Indigo represents God. So they want the symbols of God, but they don't want God.
It's disgusting, man.
And look at the mentality of Satan. Satan wanted to be God. He wanted to be higher than God, but he didn't want to serve God. And so they rob us of our symbols. They put books like this in the school system. Let me keep reading here. It says, this is Ruthie's brother, Xavier. Xavier is a cisgender boy. Well, cisgender.
Lot of extra steps to say boy.
Really, you know, he's just a dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's a swinging dude. You know, just leave it there, okay? Yeah. But they said that this was child-friendly words.
I don't know any kid that knows the word cisgender.
Right. We have transgender. Now cisgender. It says that means when Xavier was born, everyone thought he was a boy, and as he grew older, it turned out everyone was right. He is a boy. Boy is Xavier's gender identity. And then it says there are so many different ways to be a boy or a girl, too many to fit in a book. But not everyone feels like either a boy or a girl.
Too many to fit in the book, but we're gonna do our best.
We're gonna do our best, right? It says non-binary is a helpful word that can describe a kid who doesn't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. Non-binary.
That's helpful.
Transgender, cisgender, and now non-binary.
These are helpful things for kids that are 4 to 8.
I know it's very, very, very supportive. It's going to help them thrive in a global economy, and they're going to be the best, good stewards of gender identity that they could possibly be. Right? Yeah. You know, this is Ruthie's friend Alex. Alex is both a boy and a girl.
And this book, It Feels Good to Be Yourself, is in Murfreesboro City Schools.
It's about 35 to 40 minutes away from here in one of the schools in Murfreesboro City Schools. So I'll tell you exactly what school it's in.
Tell me.
Because in Bradley Academy. Parents, if your child attends Bradley Academy, run. Get out. Matter of fact, leave today because they're teaching your young 4 to 8 year old about being transgender.
I got a better piece of advice. Instead of running, go to the school board meeting tonight where you're going to be speaking.
Run to the school board meeting.
What time
and
is
join
it?
me.
What time is it, and where are we going to be tonight?
We're going to be at the Murfreesboro City Schools. You can get there at 6 p.m. and join forces with me. The address is 111 West Vine Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee 37130. 111 West Vine Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee 37130.
And you're going to be there tonight at 6 o'clock, putting that school board on notice for having these books in their libraries.
I will be there talking about that and the budget, because someone has to pay for this. Taxpayers that's in this area, you're paying to put this kind of content on the bookshelves.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
that's my zip code. That's where my tax dollars are going.
Oh, wow. So your hard-earned money.
Yeah.
Right, is going towards that.
This is why we homeschool.
Oh, man.
This is why.
Wow.
And a lot of people out there think that they're safe if they're in a private school. Do you subscribe to that? Is it safer to be in a private school these days, or are they just as much as under attack as the public schools?
There are some decent private schools out there, I have to be honest, But there are many who have caved to the whole woke agenda, the DEI agenda, simply because they don't want to be that school that's not, quote unquote, gay affirming. So therefore they bow. You even have Christian schools who are bowing.
What advice would you give to parents who are looking for those red flags and those warning signs when they're walking through their school?
Number one, stop by the guidance counselor's office. See what's going on in there. That will tell you a lot. Many of the programs are pushed through that division. Okay, stop by the library. Go take a look at the bookshelves. There's a curated list of books that I can send out to you for you to gain more understanding on what books are in the school district and things of that nature. There's ways that you can research that. But I would start with those two particular areas. Go by the guidance counselor office and take a look at the library. Also, take a look at their clubs. You even have LGBTQ clubs now at school. You have
satanic clubs.
Satanic
in school.
clubs,
Yeah.
exactly. You have that as well. And so across the board, we're seeing that there's something nefarious going on. It was reported to me that in Murfreesboro City Schools, they're teaching kids, about 30 pages from the Quran, on Islam, but they won't teach about Christianity.
Which is, the Bible's just the most read book in human history.
It is best-selling book of all time, the most stolen book of all time too, right? And so it's just unique. We're seeing this across the board, that there is a perversion of truth. And so I would start with those three areas as it relates to finding out what's going on.
Perfect. John Amanchukwu, Pastor John, he's going to be at 111 West Vine Street tonight, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 6 p.m., addressing the Murfreesboro City School Board about this book that's in their library called It Feels Good to Be Yourself, a book about gender identity. Pastor John, I appreciate your time, man. As always, thank you so much.
God bless you.
Hey, God bless you and the work you do. It's 1027 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
10:30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Stick around for the full forecast in a couple of minutes. Metro Nashville police are working new leads and searching for the suspect in a road rage shooting that happened on I-24 Sunday afternoon. Killed was 20-year-old D'Angelo Black. Here's Channel 4's Jordan James.
Metro police say that he was involved in some sort of encounter with people at a gas station in North Nashville. Following that, Black and his uncle left and made their way onto I-24 and was reportedly followed by the people from that gas station and came under fire, resulting in him being hit multiple times while riding in the back seat, ultimately leading to his death.
In other news, new photos of a suspect and his car, and now Metro Nashville police are looking for both of them in the targeted shooting of a man at William Pitts Park in Antioch. That car is a silver Kia Soul, and the suspect is a man with long brown curly hair. Killed was 23-year-old Muhammad Kita of Riverdale, Georgia. He was shot inside his Infiniti sedan November 30th at that park. The winter holidays are one of the most popular times of the year for travel, but if you haven't booked yet, finding an affordable option this late in the game may be tricky. Katie Nastro with Going.com says extending your winter holiday trip into the following weekend can help to save you money.
We're often seeing prices for various destinations, up to 30%, even more off of what you would typically pay, trying to target that January 1st or 2nd, right after that New Year period.
She also says it may be cheaper to travel one airline going to a destination and another airline for the trip home. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Jones. Chris Hand here, and I want to tell you about my buddy Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. You hear me talking about Cover Nash a lot. I mean, open enrollment is here, and health insurance is expensive, so talk to somebody that can help you out. Shane Ring has over 20 years of experience in health insurance, and he'll shop the entire market for you to find the best plan. With over 75 different companies to shop from and every type of plan available in the market, he can help you no matter what your income or health situation is. So don't let yourself or someone you know get taken advantage of by call center agents and limited overpriced health coverage. Shane can easily be saving you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums, and many of these plans will even pay you when you use them. I know it sounds hard to believe, but I've seen it happen. So go ahead and give Shane Ring a call today and let him know that Chris Hand sent you. He'll show you how much you could be saving on quality coverage right now. 615-465-0023, or you can hit up his website, covernash.com. Again, the phone number is 615-465-0023. Call now to book an appointment with Shane. That way you can get a quality health plan managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
1036 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, and I want to say thank you again to my guest, Pastor John Amachukwu, who was just in here. I mean, Pastor John is one of the greatest, and he's going to be at Murfreesboro City Schools tonight protesting a book that is in the libraries for young children and talking about budget issues. Kind enough to give him 3 minutes to speak. If you got 3 minutes to spare tonight, I suggest you meet Pastor John down there, especially if you're a Murfreesboro resident. And if you got some time today, our team is out live at Nissan Stadium. Toy Field is happening right now. Super Talk 99.7 is building a field of toys to benefit Salvation Army's Forgotten Angels all day long today till 6 p.m. at Nissan Stadium, 1 Titans Way. You know where it is. The drop-off is at Gate 6, though. So bring a toy for a child, bring a toy for a senior. It's that time of year where we really, really need to step up and help those in need. And I'm proud of our sister stations getting involved, from 104.5 The Zone and more. These guys are doing great work out there. And if you got a toy, you can donate a toy. Do it today at Toy Field. It's one of the cooler things that we get to do here at Cumulus Nashville, just helping people out. It's that time of year. Toy Field happening all day long. So please, please, please grab a toy for a child or a senior and bring it out there. It would be much, much appreciated. Pete Hegseth, is he going to get confirmed or is he not going to get confirmed? It actually looks like he's going to get confirmed. Looks like he's going to get, I know. It looks like he's going to get confirmed. And Pete was on the news last night, Fox News, and he was talking about what President Trump told him as far as what he needs out of him at the Pentagon and, you know, what he needs from him during this fight that we're seeing happening right now play out in real time.
Well, there's a lot to be done. First of all, you salute the commander-in-chief who got those 76 million votes and is going to chart the way. And I'll give him advice and counsel along the way. I'll just say what he told me. Return the Pentagon to the warfighters, Pete. Get in there and clean out all the social justice, politically correct garbage on top and get back to lethality, warfighting, accountability, meritocracy, and readiness. And guess what? 95% of the people in that building in the Pentagon and that wear the uniform, that's all they want to do anyway. And so when you return to that, it changes the culture of an institution that now stands up straight. You address that recruiting crisis. You address the retention crisis. Sean, I can't tell you how many families have reached out to me and said, my son or daughter wasn't going to join, and now they are after President Trump was elected and you were chosen to be SecDef. Same with retention. And then the rest of the world takes notice of that, Sean. So I'm not going to get ahead of the president on policy or what our posture will be. But we will be strong. And we will have peace through strength, as Donald Trump has said, and we will put America first. That's what he's asked me to do at the Pentagon, and that's my promise to the American people and our warfighters, led by President Donald Trump.
I honestly do believe that the recruitment stuff is gonna fix itself with President Trump at the helm and Pete Hegseth. And it does look like Pete Hegseth may be getting confirmed. There are reports that Joni Ernst, she's come around on Hegseth. She's a fan now. Or is she? I mean, it depends on who you ask, really, because the statement that she gave was a little weird. It was a little weird. She said, as I support Pete through this process, I look forward to a fair hearing based on truth, not anonymous sources. As I support Pete through the process, not that I support Pete as Secretary of Defense, as I support Pete through the process. That statement came yesterday after they had some, as Joni Ernst put it, encouraging conversations with Pete Hegseth. The full statement read like this: I appreciate Pete Hegseth's responsiveness and respect for the process. Following our encouraging conversations, Pete committed to completing a full audit of the Pentagon and selecting a senior official who will uphold the roles and values of our servicemen and women based on quality and standards, not quotas, and who will prioritize and strengthen my work to prevent sexual assault within the ranks. As I support Pete through this process, I look forward to a fair hearing based on truth, not anonymous sources. Per The Hill, they had a report that Hegseth had a 30-minute sit-down meeting with Joni Ernst, and that the two had a great meeting. They had a great meeting. And I'm sure it has nothing to do with the backlash Joni Ernst has received. since being anti-Pete Hegseth, right? I mean, since she decided to tank her own career as a senator in Iowa, we realized that this rhino had essentially been laying below the surface and was very well camouflaged in the sea of Republican senators. We found out that she voted to confirm Lloyd Austin for Secretary of Defense. This is the guy who's responsible for the Afghanistan withdrawal. This is the guy who decided to go have surgery and not tell anybody. This is the guy who enforced Biden's military vaccine mandate. This is the guy that made our military pro-LGBTQ and really hurt the recruitment numbers. We found out that Joni Ernst supports transgender soldiers in the military. We found out that Joni Ernst supports Democrats and votes with them 38% of the time. We found out that Joni Ernst once called Zelensky an inspirational leader and wants to send more money and weapons to Ukraine. We found out that Joni Ernst had an affair with one of her servicemen while deployed, according to her own divorce papers. And now Joni Ernst is coming around. Convenient timing, right? Again, she didn't come all the way around. She said, I support Pete through this process. I support him through the process. Not full-throated support. I support him through the process. But Hegseth said yesterday that he had a good meeting with Ernst. This is him walking down the halls of Congress.
It was a very good meeting. The more you spend, I've known her for 10 years. The more we talk, we're reminded of, as two combat veterans, how dedicated we are to defense. She has been dedicated to make the Pentagon work for warfighters for a long time. We've had great, extensive conversations about that. Commitment to the process, and we look forward to working together.
So it was a good meeting. It was a good meeting. Everybody seems to agree. It was a good meeting. Hegseth has a lot of support. A lot. There's actually a march being planned with Navy SEAL veterans, and they're going to march to support Pete Hegseth's DOD confirmation. Over 100 Navy SEAL veterans and veterans from other military branches plan to march in Washington, D.C. to express their support of Pete Hegseth. Navy SEAL veteran Bill Freak Brown, the founder of the New York City SEALs Swim Across the Hudson River, is organizing the event. Hegseth is an Army National Guard veteran, had participated in the Hudson River event for several years. They know each other. Alec Lace is another guy who's a friend of Hegseth's and a host of the Alec Lace Show. He told Breitbart that Pete Hegseth has been a monumental part of promoting the Navy SEAL swim. He swam across the Hudson River a number of years in a row, and so he's been a big advocate for the Navy SEALs. And now that he needs help, the Navy SEALs, Bill Brown, has turned around, and they're going to be helping Pete Hegseth in any way that they can. It's cool to see these guys pulling together for one of their own, lining up behind him and saying, we're with you. Lace said the SEALs immediately jumped on to sign up to go and support him. The march is going to be taking place the same day as Hegseth's Senate confirmation hearing. Lace said that Army, Navy, Marine Corps veterans, as well as Gold Star parents and members of the New York Fire Department have signed up for the march. Everybody is going to be signing up to support Pete Hegseth. You got to love to see it, don't you? Some prominent Navy SEAL veterans, as well as notable figures, have signed up to participate, including Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. The list continues to grow. If you're a patriot, if you're a vet, you are more than welcome to sign up and join the cause here. Lace said the support for Hegseth from veterans has been overwhelming, and he said that they really feel passionate about this cause. They want to see changes in our military. They've seen it getting weakened with this woke ideology that has taken over, and it's made its way into the military at the highest levels, and they're sick and tired of it. These guys are war fighters. Exactly. They want to be trained to rip out throats, not trained on what pronouns to use. I know. It's a radical concept. It's a radical concept. He went on to say they don't want to see the way that our military has been degraded over the last few years with this last administration, and they want something to be done about it. Well, you know what? There are two guys for that job, and it's Donald J. Trump and it's Pete Hegseth. And so they're making their voices heard loud and proud, and they're 100% behind Hegseth. He added, I think you're going to be surprised by the amount of people that actually show up that are going to be supporting Pete. So if you want to join in the fight, sign up, get on board. Trump is still confident that Hegseth will be appointed. He said so in the Meet the Press interview with Kristen Welker over the weekend. He's fully behind Pete. We're fully behind Pete. And I think we may be turning a corner. Joni Ernst is a hurdle. She supports him through the process. Don't worry. And maybe, just maybe, she got the message from the people that she's supposed to represent. And they said, what are you doing? What on earth are you doing? So we got vets signing up to march to support Hegseth. We also got Tulsi Gabbard, who has 250 veterans backing her now for her confirmation as Director of National Intelligence. There's actually a letter going around with 250 250 veterans. They've signed the letter in support of Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Now, normally we see these letters and we go, whatever. 51 former intelligence officials told me that laptop was fake. 200-something economists said that Kamala Harris would be better at the economy than Donald Trump. But I believe this letter. I do. The letter was titled American Veterans for Tulsi Gabbard, signed by over 250 military veterans per Fox News. The letter reads, President Donald Trump's selection of Tulsi Gabbard reflects a profound recognition of her steadfast dedication to our nation and her unwavering commitment to safeguarding the American people. While most Americans know Tulsi as a fearless and principled congresswoman who stood up to entrenched political systems, we know her as a fellow veteran, one whose worldview was forged through the crucible of serving in combat zones and a lifelong devotion to service, the veterans added. I mean, she has a career. Gabbard was a career National Guardsman, former congresswoman from Hawaii. She's dealing with criticism from Republican senators like Lindsey Graham, like Mike Rounds, like James Lankford, and we'll see what happens. These guys have spoken out in support of her. She's going to be meeting with other GOP senators, and we'll see what happens. They're going to say, but Tulsi Gabbard, she's a Russian asset. This is what we always hear. She supports Assad. Syria's been in the news lately, and those comments of Tulsi Gabbard supporting Assad have resurfaced. But I just want to point you to a clip that has also resurfaced. This is from a few years back. It's 2019. This is back when Chris Cuomo had a CNN show. And for everybody that says, Tulsi Gabbard supports Assad.
Let's talk about what you're addressing here. And I don't dispute anything that you're saying there. He's a brutal dictator, just like Saddam Hussein, just like Gaddafi in Libya. The reason that I'm so outspoken on this issue of ending these wasteful regime change wars is because I have seen firsthand this high human cost of war and the impact that it has on my fellow brothers and sisters in uniform.
But she supports Assad, a brutal dictator. It's like, no. She just doesn't support war, right? And she brings up Gaddafi in Libya, but you can point to any ruthless dictator that we've taken out. Things always seem to get worse, not better, when we get involved. And you can point to Iraq with Saddam Hussein. You can point to Libya with Gaddafi. Many such cases. And Tulsi Gabbard is on record now saying she agrees with Trump's stance on Syria, that we don't need to be involved. And it's just refreshing to hear people that are going to be in positions of power looking at global conflicts and saying, yeah, probably not our fight. I mean, that is a breath of fresh air. But she went on the record yesterday saying she is down with Trump's stance on Syria. We should not be involved.
I want to address the issue that's in the headlines right now. I stand in full support and wholeheartedly agree with the statements that President Trump has made over these last few days with regards to the developments in Syria. My own views and experiences have been shaped by my multiple deployments and seeing firsthand the cost of war and the threat of Islamist terrorism. It's one of the many reasons why I appreciate President Trump's leadership and his election, where he is fully committed, as he has said over and over, to bringing about an end to wars, demonstrating peace through strength, and putting the national security interests and the safety, security, and freedom of the American people first and foremost.
That's what we need. Let's put America first. Let's put the American people first. Let's put our veterans and our soldiers first. Tulsi Gabbard is one of those people that Trump is bringing in that is going to do just that. Pete Hegseth is one of those people that Donald Trump is bringing in that is going to do just that. Lord knows we need more of it. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show this hour is brought to you by Better Water LLC. But real quick, I do need to tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is that time of the year. If your heater is not working the way it needs to be, you're feeling it. And we've had a couple warm days, but that is not going to last. So call Busy Bee today. They have the best deals on what can get you the perfect balance between energy efficiency and complete coziness in your home, like a limited number of 14 SEER 1.5 to 3 ton split heat pumps for your residential unit replacements for only $6,995. Includes everything: labor, equipment, material, warranty. Again, it balances out energy efficiency and coziness perfectly. How about this for a deal? They'll upgrade your air duct cleaning for free. You buy a basic air duct cleaning and they'll upgrade you to the next package level, premium air duct cleaning for free. Lastly, you can get a $500 gift card after installation of a Shoal Home main water or drain line replacement or a whole home water or drain repipe. For satisfaction guaranteed, it's so simple, guys. You call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, your Rude Pro partner, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, online at busybeehvac.com.
Got a crash impacting the eastern split. It is the 40 westbound off-ramp to go eastbound on 24. And an outspoken Christian activist traveling the country to draw attention to explicit content in school library books speaks tonight in Middle Tennessee. Hear from him at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, who on earth could you be talking about, Ken?
I have no idea, Brother Chris.
It could be.
I'm not going to let anybody know until 11.
It could be anybody. I can't wait. That school board meeting tonight is going to be wild. I swear, the last thing you want to see is this guy walking into your school board meeting. You're in trouble. If you see him walk into your school board meeting, it's about to go down. I don't want to spoil Ken's, but look forward to that newscast on the way. I mean, we did have him as a guest in here, so I guess.
You did. That's the audio I have pulled is from Brother Chris Hand's show.
I always know I made it when Ken Weaver's using the audio for my show and his newscast. Pastor John Amachukwu, if you missed the interview, we are going to be podcasting it on Apple and Spotify. We'll be clipping it so you can catch it in its entirety on YouTube. He's fantastic. And the book that they have in Murfreesboro City Schools is wild. It's wild. Parents should be pissed, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are. John Amachukwu is going to be there tonight. I'll let Ken fill you in on the details. Looking forward to that. On the way, I want to continue talking about Trump's cabinet. I also want to get into Jay-Z, Hova. What's going on with H to the Izzo? Is it R to the Izape? It may be. Him and Diddy, the connections, plus more allegations against P. Diddy. We'll talk about that next. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, pastor and national Christian activist John Amachukwu goes around the nation speaking at local school board meetings to draw attention to explicit content in school library books. And he speaks tonight in Murfreesboro. He tells WTN's Chris Hand Show he's been given 3 minutes before the Murfreesboro City Schools Board tonight.
There's a parental rights issue that's taking place nationally, and it has to deal with the libraries.
Pastor Amachukwu says he'll be speaking tonight on the book titled It Feels Good to Be Yourself, which he says is on the shelves at Bradley Academy in Murfreesboro. That meeting tonight starts at 6. A Nashville mother facing charges after allegedly videoing herself repeatedly kicking her 7-month-old child in the head and then posting it online. Someone who saw the video called police. The child was taken to the hospital. The mother, 23-year-old Jatina Ballard, has been arrested on child abuse charges. She has a court appearance tomorrow. New York City police have examined writings of the accused killer of a top health insurance company executive. Here's Chuck Sievertson.
Luigi Mangione's handwritten notes talk about his disdain for corporate America, in particular the healthcare industry, says NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenney to ABC News.
He states how we are the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet the life expectancy of an American is ranked 42 in the world.
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says Mangione's gun and suppressor look similar to the one used in the attack, and his driver's license, a fake one from New Jersey, was the one used to check into a Manhattan hostel.
In our nation's capital, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he and President-elect Trump will be discussing legislative priorities this weekend, saying lawmakers are working on launching the so-called America First agenda right after Inauguration Day in January.
We're going to come up with a play call that we have consensus on and that will work for the American people. We're going to achieve these objectives. We're going to get this done.
Johnson calling border security and the economy top priorities. And in Syria, rebel forces are in charge after ousting the country's longtime dictator. James Longman is in Damascus, and he visited a notorious prison just outside the city.
We arrived to find a man reading names from a list. They are all the people thought to have been hanged here. People who lost loved ones hold up the nooses that may have killed them.
They want to show us, they want to show the world proof of Assad's brutality.
the ropes that hanged probably hundreds, maybe thousands of detainees.
This man confronts me. My son was 15 when they took him. Where is he? We want answers, he cries. He was taken 11 years ago.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Thank you to our sponsors. These guys are fearless. If you need better water, call Better Water LLC. You can find me on True Social, Instagram, and Twitter at Chris Hand on Air. I was just talking with Mason after the fact, after we hit the break, and he said the podcast with John Amachukwu, Pastor John, will be up at 12:30.
12:30 today.
Apple, Spotify, and the 99.7 WTN
Yes,
app.
sir.
All the things. And then we'll clip the video and we'll release that tomorrow.
Yeah, if you want to see the video, come watch out for it about 3:30 tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you, Mason.
Absolutely.
And thanks again to Pastor John Amachukwu. And somebody was asking me if we would have audio from the school board meeting tomorrow. Absolutely, we will. Absolutely. They're giving him 3 minutes to speak, and I'll air out the whole 3 minutes tomorrow on the show, as long as they make it available. Sometimes things get, there's editing lags, and these guys are on the road. They don't have their rig set up. So if there's a delay on their end, there'll be a delay on our end. But if it's out, we'll play the whole thing tomorrow live on the air. That is going to be a raucous school board meeting. It just is. And you look around at like the satanic influence, not just in our schools, but in culture. And it's so prevalent. It's so apparent. It's everywhere we look. And it's been that way for a while now. Recently, Jay-Z has had allegations come up against him that are similar to the Diddy allegations. And he's accused, Jay-Z is, of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 with Diddy, according to NBC News. So the incident was previously reported on, but the celebrity was not named at the time. It was just Celebrity A. The incident is alleged to have happened at an MTV Music Awards after party after the girl was picked up by a driver who said that she fit what Diddy was looking for. According to the lawsuit, the girl went to lie down in a bed after she felt woozy after being handed a drink at the party. The way it breaks down the lawsuit is that Diddy eventually came into the room with two celebrities, one a man, Jay-Z, and one a woman. And it's graphic what the allegations are. And as of right now, these are just allegations. But they say Jay-Z held the girl down and assaulted her while Combs and Celebrity B, a female, watched. After Jay-Z was done, Combs then sexually assaulted the girl while the other two watched. There's videos of Diddy and Jay-Z all over the place. You know, they've partied together. They've been at these events together. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't. And it all comes, the first ones to break this was the NBC Bay Area and their local affiliate there. And they broke the story. The attorney that filed the lawsuit is Texas-based attorney Tony Busby. He did not comment at the time of this story being released, but Jay-Z calls the allegations idiotic, and he's issued a lengthy statement responding to those allegations. And, you know, as one would assume, he denies everything. And the statement, though, it's lengthy. This is the statement from Jay-Z on these allegations. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion, so I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I've done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you that I've seen your kind many times over. Again, this is the statement from Jay-Z in regards to these allegations that he raped a minor with Diddy. He says, I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. Jay-Z continues, my heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at an age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. The children should not have to endure such at a young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy my family and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have a very strict codes of honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe idiotic claims you have levied against me. If not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, it would be laughable. Well, consider me a conspiracy theorist because it wouldn't shock me at all if this was true. It wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me one bit. And this is breaking into mainstream. Fox News covered it a little bit over the weekend.
Digital. Hip-hop mogul Jay-Z is being accused of raping a 13-year-old girl along with Diddy in a lawsuit that was filed today in New York. The lawsuit states the incident allegedly happened at an MTV VMA after party 24 years ago. Fox News Digital did reach out to Jay-Z's team. They have not heard back yet, but at one point from the lawsuit, quote, many others were present at the after party but did nothing to stop the assault.
Many others were present at the after party but did nothing to stop the assault. Now, whether or not Jay-Z is guilty, you can look at Diddy, you can look at the parties he was throwing, and you can say many other celebrities were present and none did anything to stop the assault. Like that is factual. You can point to many celebrities that attended these parties. And I do think that this is the tip of the iceberg. I do. I think that you're going to see a lot of these celebrities get outed. And I think that you're bringing in people into this administration, guys like Kash Patel at the FBI, Pam Bondi. They're not going to be playing games with this stuff. They're not. It's time to protect the kids, whether it's at the southern border or whether it's at these Diddy parties. 50 Cent weighed in, and 50 Cent's been very vocal. 50 Cent was vocal about Diddy before any charges even dropped. He was dropping breadcrumbs about this. But 50 says that the NFL needs to part ways with Jay-Z and find another partner to produce its Super Bowl halftime shows. It's crazy. I didn't even realize that Jay-Z was producing the Super Bowl halftime shows. His hands are in everything in entertainment and in Hollywood. But 50 Cent says you got to get rid of him after these allegations that he raped a minor in connection with the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking investigation. I would think so. I would think so. In a message referring to the Super Bowl halftime show, 50 Cent posted on his Instagram account, "Okay, I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl?" Worried emoji. "I'm just asking for a friend." 50 Cent is a high-level troll, but he's got a point. He's got a point. People have been fired for lesser allegations, have they not? Aren't we supposed to believe all the victims, right? I do believe the victim in this case. I do. And I feel for her and her family. There's another Diddy accuser who has come out. This is not the same one in the allegations with Jay-Z, but there is a Diddy gang rape accuser, and it's been revealed as NHL star Evander Kane's ex-wife, Anna. An accuser against disgraced music and fashion mogul Sean Diddy Combs, who has up to now been anonymous, has been revealed as the ex-wife of an NHL hockey star. As the accusations, court cases, and charges continue to grow, a long list of Jane and John Does have filed sexual assault lawsuits against Diddy. But TMZ has discovered that one of these anonymous filers has been identified as Anna Kane, the wife of Edmonton Oilers wing Evander Kane. It appears that Kane was required to reveal her identity by a court if she wanted to continue the lawsuit, TMZ discovered. In her suit, Kane claims that she was a 17-year-old high school student when she got involved in Diddy's parties and says she was gang raped by his guests and associates at those parties. Again, listen, there were a lot of celebrities at these parties. A lot. And maybe they didn't know what was happening. I find that hard to believe. Nobody stepped in to stop this. So many celebrities know about what was happening in Hollywood. So many elites know about what was happening with Epstein. Everybody stayed quiet. Everybody stayed quiet. How many people do you think are involved in this kind of stuff in Hollywood, percentage-wise? Is it 25%? Is it 10%? Are we looking at 50? Are we looking at 75% of Hollywood doing this kind of stuff? Or at least turning a blind eye to this kind of stuff? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Now this NHL star's ex-wife, Anna Kane, claims that while she was a high school student, she got involved in these parties and she was gang raped. Gang raped. Nobody said anything. She says, "I had hoped to use a pseudonym in pursuing justice for what happened to me as a teenager. Defendants demand that I use my name was an attempt to intimidate me. But I'm not intimidated. I'm prepared to proceed and hold accountable those who have harmed me," Kane said through a statement from her lawyer. Kane alleges that Bad Boy Entertainment president Harvey Pierre, who says told her she was hot, invited her to a party in New York in 2003 when she was in 11th grade. 11th grade. I got to be honest with you. I would never let my daughter go to a celebrity party in 11th grade. Nothing good can come of that. But be that as it may, she went to the party. And she claims that after being at the party, she was invited onto a private jet. She went to another party. She met the rap legend at his recording studio. She said that she was given unknown drugs and alcohol before Diddy and his guests sexually assaulted her. She does claim that Diddy himself raped her in a bathroom. This is the most vicious kind of evil out there. And this stuff needs to be handled immediately. You know, they say to Trump, Or are you going to go after your political enemies? Are you going to go after Liz Cheney? Are you going to go after Nancy Pelosi? I would say no. You know who I'm going to go after? The celebrities that turned a blind eye at Diddy parties while minors were getting raped. And then I'd like to watch the media kvetch, because they'd have to say something negative about Donald Trump doing that. It's like that time where they asked him about QAnon. Said, Sir, do you believe the world is run by satanic pedophiles and you're here to take them out? And he said, would that be is that supposed to be a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? But you look at these guys that are celebrities, and you're not surprised why the QAnon stuff took off, because the rumors and the accusations have been there for years and years and years, and nobody wants to look into it. And then we find out it's all true. Weird. Now, this NHL star's ex-wife, Anna Kane, has supplied photos allegedly showing her inside Diddy's studio, recording studio. She was married to the NHL star from 2018 to 2021, had a child with him before their divorce. This is just one of a slew of lawsuits, one including an accusation that Diddy raped a 10-year-old boy. It's insane. It's insane on so many levels. Diddy's been in jail since September 16th following an arrest and a federal indictment accusing him of more than a decade of abusing, threatening, coercing both men and women, racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice, among other crimes. This guy is never getting out of jail. And I want to go on record right now and say I don't believe he killed himself. Because, listen, that's where it's going to go next, right? That's where all of this always goes. Jay-Z is going to have to come up with some answers. Singer MIA has made some accusations and claims about Jay-Z after these allegations have come out that he raped a minor at a Diddy party. Singer MIA claimed that Jay-Z told her to get plastic surgery after signing her, and she's revealed this after the fallout from the accusation that he raped a 13-year-old girl with Diddy. The British rapper and singer MIA got candid about the guy that led Rock Nation, and she was signed to his record label. And she said that when she met Jay-Z, one of the first things he said was that she needs to get plastic surgery. Real nice guy. Real nice guy. And Jay-Z, man, there's a lot to this story. There's always been rumors that he started dating Beyonce when she was a teenager. And those rumors have been persistent for years and years and years. There's rumors with Jay-Z that he had inappropriate relations with a minor by the name of Aaliyah, which you may know. And then you look at who he's associated with over the years. You associate with Diddy. You associate with R. Kelly. It's hard to say, well, there's no way he could have done anything, right? Let the facts play out. But it does seem like we're witnessing a drip waterfall when it comes to Diddy and celebrities and these wild accusations.
In October, attorney Tony Busby came on primetime and said that Diddy did not act alone, and he promised to name names.
There are many people involved. There are many entities involved. To the extent there's a celebrity that it occurred at their house or that they were involved or participated, they will certainly be named.
They will certainly be named. Everything in the dark will be brought to the light. Lord willing, it happens very, very quickly. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Looking ahead to the next legislative session, we'll tell you about a new bill that has been filed, and it pertains to abortion, coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, Toy Field is happening right now out at Nissan Stadium. There are kids in this community that need you to step up, so that way they got something under the tree on Christmas morning. So our sister station is out there, 104.5 The Zone. God bless those guys. They're going to be out there all day long. We're going to be out there. Chad is going to be down there. Murphy's been mulling about, and we need you to be out there as well. It's happening at Nissan Stadium. Drop-off for the toys is at Gate 6. The toys that are being gathered will go to ensure all children on the Salvation Army Angel Tree have a very, very Merry Christmas morning. Can't do it without you. Can't do it without you. So we're inviting you again to stop by today. We're going to be out there live until 6 o'clock, and we need you to help fulfill the dream of thousands of children this holiday season. It's heartbreaking to think that there are thousands of kids in Middle Tennessee that need this help, but it's also comforting to know that in this community, in Middle Tennessee, there are people out there that are going to step up and help. This is the 17th annual Toy Field Drive. It's presented by First Horizon Bank. And if you got a toy that you can bring for a child or a senior, do it today. Gate 6, Nissan Stadium. They're going to be out there until 6 p.m. Please do it. I know that these kids need a good Christmas. They need it. And it's on us to step up and fill that void. So thank you in advance, and I appreciate that. Details are at 997WTN.com if you need more information, but I don't think you need anything else. Just go to a store, buy a toy, head to Nissan Stadium before 6 o'clock, and drop it off. You get a high five and a hug. I guarantee it. Somebody will give you a hug. But this is what we do. We help people that need help. Toy Field. Love what they're doing out there. Again, shout out to the guys at The Zone, 104.5 The Zone. They've been out there since 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Love it. Love it. All right, so there's a lot going on in the world right now. Syria is absolutely falling apart. The Biden administration, they are communicating with the terrorist head of the Syrian rebel group through a Turkish intermediary. It's nice. That's nice, right? That was revealed just yesterday. You know, we had the fall of Syria over the weekend. The Biden administration, they're working to help out. They're going to send some aid. Don't worry. They're going to send some aid. I'm sure that's comforting to the people in North Carolina. I'm sure. If you're pissed at Biden during the final days of his administration, I just want you to know the Democrats are also pissed at Biden during his final days. So it's just, he's an equal opportunity, making people pissed off kind of guy. Biden is catching the ire from the Democrats because they're saying he's being cavalier and selfish in his final weeks in the White House. Oh, he's cavalier. Now he's cavalier and selfish? Now? I feel like this has been a problem that's been going on for years, but okay. Now, they're also mad that he's ceding influence of his office in the last days to President-elect Donald Trump. He's ceding influence. And they point to Donald Trump being at Notre Dame as essentially the guest of honor, sitting right next to French President Emmanuel Macron, while Biden remained in Washington, D.C. And according to the Wall Street Journal, that move angered a lot of Democrats who have spent years backing up Biden, and left-wing media outlets claim that Trump is a threat to democracy. That he's just ceding the influence. And I would point out, Biden didn't cede influence. Trump took it. Trump grabbed that bull by the horns, and he said, yeah, I won. I'm the president now. It's like, you know, the meme from the Tom Hanks movie, look at me, I'm the captain now. That's what he did. He took it. Biden didn't give it. Trump took it. And in a way that only Trump could, because he's Donald Trump. And I'll let you listen to Newt Gingrich explaining Donald Trump.
Look, if you're a relatively sophisticated leader around the world and you watch 9 years of the rise of Donald Trump, and you watch 2 impeachments, and you watch all of these efforts to catch him in the law, and you watch 2 assassination attempts, and the guy just keeps coming. As I said the other day, This is a mythic figure, almost like the various Scandinavian Beowulfs and other kind of sagas. I mean, there's no practical way that you can explain Trump within a normal political structure.
No, you just can't. And Dems are mad at Biden for ceding influence, but no. This guy took it.
He now represents clearly something like, according to the latest Rasmussen poll, 55% of the American people believe that he has in fact got a clear mandate. Only 32% don't agree. So, I mean, he's beginning to build almost a 2-to-1 margin that this is the leader of the American nation. And if you're the rest of the world, and you realize, people forget, we are an enormous country, 345 million people. We are the third largest country geographically in the world. We have enormous power, clearly still, despite every screw up at the Pentagon. We're the most powerful nation in the world.
And world leaders take notice. Donald Trump is now in charge. Biden didn't cede influence. Donald Trump took it. It's 11:31 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Looking ahead to the next legislative session next month, News 2 says a new bill has been filed that penalizes providing abortion-inducing medication to Tennesseans by up to $5 million. Later tonight in Murfreesboro, Christian activist Pastor John Amanchukwu will speak about explicit content he says is in books in school libraries.
I'm going to the Murfreesboro City Schools to speak at a school board meeting there. I have about 3 minutes to speak. We're going to touch on issues germane to their budget. You know, there's a lot of funding that's being spent in that district. And so I want to have some conversations about that, okay? What else are we spending money on?
Pastor Amanchukwu telling WTN's Chris Hand Show he will be speaking tonight on the book titled It Feels Good to Be Yourself about gender identity, which he says is on the shelves at Bradley Academy in Murfreesboro. New York's Attorney General says she will not give up her bid to get President-elect Trump to pay a nearly $500 million penalty for fraud. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
The New York State Attorney General's office says President-elect Trump may be immune from criminal prosecution, but he's not immune from civil proceedings. And Letitia James's team says it intends to continue pressing for Trump to pay a massive penalty in the civil fraud case against the Trump Organization. Trump now owes close to $480 million when interest is added to the penalty set by a judge who ruled that Trump inflated his net worth to secure more favorable loan terms. It's a ruling Trump is appealing.
And you may hear some explosions today near Nashville International Airport. Not to worry, it's just a drill. There will be emergency vehicles, fire, and smoke along with the explosions. BNA says these drills will not impact any flights today. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
Look, if you're a relatively sophisticated leader around the world and you watch 9 years of the rise of Donald Trump and you watch 2 impeachments and you watch all of these efforts to catch him in the law and you watch 2 assassination attempts and the guy just keeps coming. I said the other day, this is a mythic figure, almost like the various Scandinavian Beowulfs and other kind of sagas. I mean, there's no practical way that you can explain Trump within a normal political structure.
That's Newt Gingrich on DJT, our president-elect. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. This portion of the show brought to you by Better Water LLC. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. President Trump, the guy just keeps coming. It's like a mythic figure. Democrats are mad. Biden is ceding influence to Donald Trump. No. He didn't cede anything. He took it. And I don't know if Democrats are mad, but Democrats are certainly panicked. Adam Kinzinger was asked if he's worried that J6 committee members would be sent to jail. And he kind of laughed it off, but in his face, he looks a little nervous. Looks a little shook.
That Donald Trump will try to put you in jail.
No, I have absolutely no worries about this. First off, the executive branch can't go after the legislative branch because we embarrassed him. That's not a sin. That's not against the law. Ultimately, when we talked about him throwing his ketchup and hamburger against the wall, there's nothing illegal about that. And most of the people that testified were actually his Republicans, fellow Republicans that went up and spoke in him. So look, he's all butthurt right now because he was embarrassed. He's not going to come after us, and I'm not worried about it at all.
I don't know if Trump is butthurt. I don't know if that's it. I mean, the guy just won the presidency overwhelmingly. He got the popular vote, got the House, got the Senate. Butthurt? Is that how you would describe butthurt? I don't know. It's a hot take. But, Biden is ceding influence, the Democrats say. Adam Kinzinger, Donald Trump can't do anything because he's butthurt. Yet they're lining up preemptive pardons for people just like Adam Kinzinger. Isn't that weird? He's not gonna come after us. Plus, Biden said he was going to pardon me, so I'm not really worried about it. Senator Amy Klobuchar actually is against preemptive pardons. She was on Was it Inside with Jen Psaki? Awful name for a show, but Inside with Jen Psaki, Amy Klobuchar said that not a fan of preemptive pardons.
Let me ask you about again, not a slow news day. Let me ask you about pardons. There has been reporting, which is not, I don't have any new information on, you can share with us, that President Biden and his team are considering preemptive pardons. We're obviously in a different world right now with Trump coming in. What do you think about that? Is that a good idea?
I am not a fan of these. I didn't like the pardon of the president's son. I didn't think that was prudent, but I also am very concerned about this idea of the preemptive pardons. I am, of everyone, very concerned about what Trump is going to do with this Justice Department. I actually spoke to Adam Schiff this weekend about this in anticipation that you might ask me.
Oh, how did you know?
Well, I just guessed it.
She's saying she spoke with Adam Schiff to get the answer. I actually copied Adam Schiff's answer, who also came out against preemptive pardons. Maybe this is what the Democrat strategy is. Come out against the preemptive pardon you're going to receive and then be like, well, what can I do? I said I was against it, and he pardoned me anyway. Maybe.
And, he has publicly said that he does not want a preemptive pardon, that he believes that this is a nation of laws and that there are judges that make decisions all the time, including during the last Trump administration, including Republican appointees from many different administrations who did the right thing in many cases under the law. The president has this power. I would prefer that we actually Trump abused this pardon power. I think that we should have pardon reform. It is a right of these presidents, but you could have a committee set up. You could have suggestions from a board. You could do all kinds of things.
I love how she says, Trump. I'm not a fan of preemptive pardons. I didn't like that Joe Biden pardoned his son, but Trump went too far with the pardons. Okay. Trump didn't pardon any of his kids. He didn't blanket pardon anybody. There weren't any preemptive pardons for charges that weren't charged. Trump abused his pardon power. Okay, all right. I mean, listen, they're nervous because they weaponized the Justice Department to go against Trump, and they're worried about that pendulum swinging back towards them. And they'll tell you that they didn't weaponize the Department of Justice, but we all know the truth because we watched it happen in real time. And even certain Democrats understand that the DOJ was politicized by the Biden administration. One Democrat who's come under fire from that same DOJ, Mayor Eric Adams in New York City.
And now we're hearing others are saying that Biden should pardon people because this would be difficult on their families and difficult on them, and they would have to pay high legal fees. Well, what about me?
What about Trump? How much legal fees did he accrue? Also, President Trump is back on the record now saying that he's not going to take a presidential salary, so it's not like the job is going to recoup any of that, which I do think is one of the classiest moves, just refusing your presidential salary, donating it to charity. He did it last term. He's going to do it again. I'm a huge fan of it. But back to the pardons. Eric Adams says, what about me? You speak out against illegal immigration, and all of a sudden, target's on your back.
What about those mothers who are placed on FBI watch lists because they were standing up for their children?
Well, you said the other day you think that the justice system has been politicized. You believe that, don't you?
Yes, I do, with all my heart. But not only do I believe it, the president stated it. Donald Trump stated it, and countless others. You should look at some of these stories, what happened to people that stand up because of what they believe in. I believed in this city. We were going in the wrong direction with the migrants and asylum seekers, and I was very clear about that after 10 trips to Washington, D.C. I know what this crisis has done to our city long term, and New Yorkers are going to see the byproduct of $6.4 billion removed from our coffers.
So given the fact that you think it's been politicized, there's some people who think that President Trump might move to pardon some of the people who were involved in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Do you think that's something he should do because it's been politicized, or he should not do?
I think that's the determination of the president.
And if you listen to Donald Trump in the Meet the Press interview yesterday that we played, he's all in on J6 pardons. And he said that it's going to be a day one event. Day one. Not a week down the road. Not a month down the road. Day one for J6. Day one, he's going to be looking at J6 pardons. He said that just over the weekend with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press.
I'm going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to be acting very quickly.
Within your first 100 days, first day?
First day.
First day?
Yeah, I'm looking first day.
Issue these pardons.
These people have been there, how long is it, 3 or 4 years?
Okay.
By the way, they've been in there for years, and they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open.
He's right. And we've talked to Sarah Maccabee how many times? Sarah Maccabee is the wife of J6 political prisoner Ronald Maccabee, who was a sheriff here in Middle Tennessee. And he's been sitting in a jail cell. Why? These are the stuff that we need to get fixed. Sarah Maccabee's husband wasn't doing anything wrong. A lot of J6 prisoners weren't doing anything wrong. And Donald Trump says, day one, I'm going to get in there and look at it. I'm going to get in. And he's got carte blanche to pardon him now. Preemptive pardons, pardoning the son. Are you kidding? You kidding, right? Yesterday, Morning Joe, they were talking about pardons, and of course Liz Cheney comes up, and these guys said, listen, the last person that Donald Trump wants to pick a fight with is Liz Cheney.
I want to read you what Liz Cheney had to say. Here is the truth. Donald Trump attempted to overturn the 2020 presidential election and seize power. He mobilized an angry mob and sent them to the United States Capitol, where they attacked police officers.
She left out the part where he said peacefully and patriotically. She also left out the part where they were already storming the Capitol while his speech was going on. She left out the part about feds in the crowd, too.
Invaded the building and halted the official counting of electoral votes, Cheney said. Donald Trump's suggestion that members of Congress who later investigated his illegal and unconstitutional action should be jailed is a continuation of his assault on the rule of law and the foundations of our republic. And
No mention of the Banana Republic status of those J6 hearings. No mention of the evidence they deleted on the way out.
Jonathan Lemire for a new incoming president. You know what? That is not the fight he wants to pick. I mean, he may want to pick that fight, but it's just not going to end well.
It's not the fight he should pick, but it very well may be the fight he chooses to pick.
Don't pick a fight with Liz Cheney? Because it won't end well? Is there a different Liz Cheney? Google it, Mason. Are they talking about a different Liz Cheney? Or are they talking about the one that Trump personally ousted from Congress and demolished her candidate last month in the 2024 election? Is there one or is there more?
Looking here, I don't see another one.
Wow.
I don't see another one.
I didn't know you didn't want to pick a fight with that Liz Cheney. We're learning together. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle.
It's 11:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I missed Murphy so much yesterday that we decided to wear the same shirt.
Who wore it best? If you're watching on Super Talk TV right now. I mean, don't judge the hair. Don't judge the beard. You're judging the shirt, people. Who wore it best?
I like how you went for business cash, sleeves rolled up, getting stuff done kind of look.
That's right. You got the vest on. Maybe I'm in a business meeting. Maybe I'm outside chopping wood. I don't know.
It could be both.
Could be both.
Could be a business meeting about chopping wood.
What do you think, Mason? I know what you'll say because you know where your bread is buttered. Just go ahead and say it, Mason. Just go ahead.
I'm just saying, my man Chris is looking all trim. He looks good. I like the sleeves
trim?
down. I like the sleeves down.
What does that have to do with the trim?
You do have a lot more shirt, Murphy.
That was more of a hair comment than anything.
I say this in love, but as a fellow fat boy, I would think
hey, that was a hair comment. That was a hair comment.
See, I knew it'd go straight. I knew it'd go straight to the hair and beard. I knew that's what would happen.
All right, you got to fill me in. Where the heck have you been on Mondays?
Are you taking like every Monday, Friday off?
I knew you took Fridays off to play golf, but I'm really curious about Monday. I don't know where he's been.
Yeah, what's his schedule and where can we get on it?
I've missed my hand moments.
Yeah, dude.
I almost called it something else that would have got me in trouble. Anyway, so what's been going on?
Not much.
Yeah,
not much. We had Pastor John Amachukwu in studio today.
He's you said he's in Murfreesboro? You were just
Murfreesboro City tonight, 111 West Vine Street, 6 o'clock. They got a book he is not too pleased about, and he's also going to be addressing budget concerns.
I heard something yesterday, and I don't think it's a sensitive topic. I don't think any topic is sensitive with you, but I heard you voicing an advertisement for the Education Choice Act.
Yep.
So, I mean, I felt like last time around you were just trying to kind of feel around and figure out where it is. As a father with 4 kids, you've come down.
I'm coming around.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I've not seen it, and I'm excited about it. I'm talking to Sapicki today about it.
I think that you can look at the state of public education and say anything is better than this.
One of the things that several lawmakers, including Jack Johnson, and look, I mean, I trust them as far as I can throw them. I trust them as far as I can throw them.
You're very strong.
But one of the things that they have noted as kind of a rebuttal, because I think there's some legitimate conservative concerns about whether or not this is going to allow the state to involve itself more in private education. And Jack Johnson said something last week that I had not thought of. He said, if that was our goal, we could already do that.
Bingo.
If that's what we want to accomplish, then we can already accomplish that without doing the other thing. So I'm excited about the state of that and how they've kind of come together and figured out some of the and maybe it's a good thing that it did not happen last year because they figured out some of the issues with last year's bills and worked them out.
The thing that scared me last year was when we didn't have any details, but we had billboards promoting it.
Right. You got to pass it to see what's in it. Right?
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing, right? Right.
I do. I feel a lot more comfortable this time around.
Well, that's good. Yep. Do you feel comfortable that we're getting the full story with the Luigi guy, the Super Mario Brothers?
Luigi. No, I don't. Listen, you see the conversations online. Is it MK Ultra? Was it too much ayahuasca? What was it? What do you say, Matt?
All I know is
was it ayahuasca MK Ultra?
All I know is that I made a joke that they found him in a tube eating mushrooms holding a turtle, and I got nothing. I got crickets. I got crickets.
I would have laughed.
It's little Super Mario's Brothers. And I also made my joke that have you ever stood in McDonald's in a line of McDonald's?
Yeah.
And you're just bored, and you look around and you see the Employee of the Month sign, and you're like, I wonder how they got that. You don't have to wonder in Altoona, Pennsylvania, baby.
I saw a joke that said if he'd only stopped at a Popeyes for breakfast, it would have helped him get rid of the gun.
different view about those types of things. So we're going to continue asking the questions that I think are pertinent to ask about this this United Healthcare assassination attempt, and then we'll talk about education.
I heard a theory, and when John Amachukwu was here, he also had a couple of camera guys, and I know both of them from Turning Point, friends of mine. But Marcus, this guy, he hit me with a great theory.
What is that?
Okay, his theory was the CEO paid the assassin to kill him.
Oh, yes, I've heard this.
For insurance purposes.
For insurance purposes, right.
Like he was going to go down, He was going to lose everything because of this investigation that's going on behind the scenes.
So go ahead and kill me. I'm a 51-year-old man, but
my kids will get everything.
My kids will get everything, and I'm leaving them a wonderful.
I'd do that in a heartbeat for my kids. And then you can repent, and you're not doing the suicide thing, right?
Okay. I mean, I think that's technically suicide. I think that's technically suicide.
I don't know.
Because it's pre-planned.
I think it's pre-planned, and you're telling me to shoot you. That's
you have a window to repent. Do you not? See, I wish Pastor John was still here.
You're asking the wrong. If you're asking about repentance, you're asking the wrong guy.
All right, Murphy's in next. He'll continue this conversation with you. It's 12:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.